In today's show, I'm going to be talking to Chelsea Cohen, the logistics queen and the co-founder of SoStocked inventory management software. And we're going to be going over the golden rule. So stay tuned. Amazon PPC may seem like a complex subject, but it doesn't have to be. Hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell to be notified whenever we come out with great brand building videos and videos on Amazon PPC.
This is something that a lot of people are not talking about. A lot of people are not talking about how to optimize your business before your inventory checks in, right? We understand that we need to, in terms of sourcing, we need to get things right pricing wise in terms of sourcing. We understand that on the marketing side, it has to be profitable, but there's not a lot of people talking about the supply chain and how to recover profit across the supply chain. And that's what I'm really, really excited about, because I think that there's a lot of money that can be made across the supply chain. Here's one example, and this is a real example of a product that surprisingly enough, we haven't really paid much attention to the changes in fees that have been going on in terms of the freight forwarding. And I actually wrote, we just finished and are going to soon release a very extensive article specifically about freight forwarding on our blog, how to read a freight forwarding invoice, because we did a survey and a lot of people just don't understand how to read a freight forwarding invoice. So one of the things that we have seen to happen in terms of freight forwarding is they're starting to charge minimums, which means that, for example, with our freight forwarder, every single carton is going to be charged at least 12 kilograms, even if it's lower than that. So there's a scenario of a carton that was 7.7 kilograms and was going to be charged as if it was 12. So that, even though you have the same number of units, the same number of cartons, the amount of money that was going to be charged in this scenario, $6,000 per month for this particular product, right? That's $75,000 per year. So these are sneaky things. They used to not do this. They slipped these in, and the only reason that we noticed was because our freight forwarder pointed out, and we were able to actually convert the cartons in advance to avoid paying that extra amount of money. So it's very important. But not only that side of things, the other side of things to consider is the per carton fees when you go to your warehouse. So your warehouse is going to charge you for carton pull fees and carton labeling fees. So when your stuff arrives and it doesn't have labels on it and you need to ship it to Amazon, every time they pull those cartons off of those pallets and stick a label on them, and then if they have to go and repalletize them again, every time they do that, the problem that's going to happen is that you're going to be charged for those two fees. And those two fees, the average tends to be $3.60 per carton. So if you have more units per carton, in this scenario, 24 units per carton, then got bumped up to 40 units per carton. It helped with the weight optimization, but also the units per carton optimization. Instead of 417 cartons, it was 250 cartons, a savings of $600 a month or $7,000 per year. So that's a pretty significant. When you add the weight fees and the units per carton savings, that's almost $7,000 or $82,000 per year. Pretty darn significant, and a lot of money. And then just consider, when you go to sell your business, the valuation, if you could recover that $82,000 and then you sell for, let's say, a 5X multiple, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I believe it's about over $400,000 that you should be making, but that is instant equity to the aggregator or the business owner who purchases your business, simply because they did this and you didn't. So getting it done, and getting it done as soon as possible, if you plan to sell in the next 12 to 24 months, it's extremely important to start doing some of these optimizations to be able to recover some of that.
And you said something very important there. And we have a mutual friend in Rob from an aggregator here in Austin.
Yeah.
And That's one of the first things they do is they take a look at the packaging and they figure out how they can adjust it, shrink it, make it smaller, make it less wasteful, number one, but also make it shrink it to make it so the carton's smaller, the pallet's smaller, everything weighs less. And so I'm going to give you guys an example here in real time because I actually have a great example here. This is a competitor of ours, but we have the same manufacturer. And our mask used to come in a box just like this. And the box is bulky and half of it was air. And so we're shipping these from China, half the box is air. So we're like, how can we make this better? And so we took it and we actually shrunk it down into plastic. So now you have just the product protected by this layer of plastic, and we can stack these just on top of each other. It makes the cartons themselves a little heavier, but we can put like double the amount in it. And that's why it's heavier, not because you're just shipping air, which is one of the most wasteful ways that you can ship anything. So don't be afraid to talk to your manufacturer about repackaging something. And then one more example that I'll give is our sunglasses. So our sunglasses had this big bulky case that took up a ton of space. And so it made the box huge. And it not only made the box huge, but the case itself almost weighed a pound. And we're like, let's just get rid of this case and just include the soft case. It reduced the weight of each unit by a pound coming from China. And then it shrunk the box by about a third. And so the box is now just the size of the sunglasses. And so we were able to put more into the carton. It weighed less. Therefore, Amazon, it costs less for Amazon to ship it to the customer, but it also significantly reduced our volume or our cost from China. And I think it saved us over $100,000 a year when we started making these small changes.
Yeah. Even shipping from your 3PL to your Amazon warehouse, like that as well, you get charged based on the weight and the size, the density of the product of the carton that you're sending. So even that is going to be decreasing as well. There's a lot of these, we call them death by paper cuts. There's a lot of this death by paper cuts going on throughout the Amazon space, throughout your Amazon business. But I believe this is the one space that is most overlooked. And so I'm pushing in 2022 that this is going to be my overriding message, is how to recover profit across your supply chain. Because as we've spent a lot of time trying to just get inventory into Amazon and stay in stock and deal with restock limits and deal with supply chain and all of that, all of us have been pushed into third-party warehouses, all of these fees that have been stacking up just to stay in business. 2022 needs to be where we start recovering some of that profit. And that's going to happen through things that we can actually control, which is, carton optimization, pallet optimization, container optimization, and product size optimization. And there is no current tool for carton optimization right now. I'm actually currently putting it together. So hopefully we'll be able to release it. It'll probably be a free tool that we'll release, but there are tools for some of these other things. Not all of them free. There is a product size tool inside of Smartscale, inside of their FBA calculator, that shows you what tier you fall in. And then it also shows you the tiers in terms of the size, and also size and weight tiers, and how the next size down. So you can start looking at, what do I need to do to get to the next size down? And you can run your ASINs through that and see how you could potentially get into a lower tier based on either, adjusting your product or adjusting your packaging, or both. Beyond that, there's a pallet optimization tool. It's called onpallet.com. It's free. One caveat is that you need to factor in the 6 inches for the pallet. The standard pallet height is 72, but it's really 66 when you factor that 6 inches worth of pallet. If you build it out for the product to be a full 72 on top of that 6 inches, it'll come to your third-party warehouse, and it will have to be repalletized just to fit into their storage facility. And even potentially worse than that, if you send it to Amazon directly, it's going to be oversized, and you'll probably get charged a bunch of fees. So make sure you do that properly. And then lastly, carton optimization or container optimization. There's a tool called peer-to-peer.com load calc. Peer is spelled P-I-E-R, and then the number two, peer.com/load calc. And that will help you to optimize your container. It'll also produce what's called a container map. That map will help you to know how exactly to build out your SKUs inside of that container to be able to optimize that space. But it'll also create this map so that when your warehouse opens up the container, they will know where everything is. We've had stories where warehouses open up the container and they see just a spaghetti mess of products everywhere, and they have to take all this time to try to match things up like a child's game. And it takes so much time. It takes hours upon hours, and this can cut time down by 4x. It can go from 8 hours worth of work to 2 hours worth of work just by having this container map and actually sending the container map to your 3PL.
Amazon PPC may seem like a complex subject, but it doesn't have to be, and that is why we created this channel. On top of Amazon PPC, we're going to share different tactics and strategies that we've used to build a multi-million-dollar business, as well as the strategies that we're using to build a $100 million company, which is our goal. We don't know how we're going to get there yet, but that's our goal, and we want to take you along for the ride. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell to be notified whenever we come out with great business building and Amazon PPC strategies.